acknowledge them, that had the vision at that time. And I want to say that it was one of our strong, campaign promise that the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund will come out bigger, bolder, and stronger. And I'm going to assure you that given the scorecards that we've seen, in less than 5 years, they've had direct interventions to over 200,000 citizens, in direct or indirect employment. And so you can see that when we took over 3 years ago, they were just around 37,000. Now they've doubled up that scale, and we're seeing that they're doing numbers that is close to 200,000. And when we made the promise that we're going to make it bigger, bolder, and stronger, we're on the path to ensuring that those promises, are made. And I want to thank you, Teju. I want to thank you, Mr. Bola Adeshola, for all of these great works that you guys are doing. But we know that, funding is also one of the things that had been the impact, that has helped you, and to date, I think we have committed over 10 billion, to the fund. And we want to also do more. We want to have a lot more people to have access to this fund. I also want to thank the Ministry of Economic Planning that truly really stayed to the mission of ensuring that data-led, coordinated, and tracking are used, under our economic agenda. Some of the interventions that we've talked about that we want to see about a 6.7% drop on our employment rates. We also want to make Lagos the most impressive job creation center nationwide. And we also want to ensure that this disruption that is caused by COVID-19 are things that we can put behind us, very, very quickly. And so if you look at the topic for the discussion today and tomorrow, a sustainable job creation strategy, collective action, and prosperity for all. I think this topic is very apt, especially the part that has prosperity for all. I think that's a very strong point that we all need to take away. And I'm sure that part of the things that will be coming out from this summit will be a lot of partnership, a lot of collaborations, and we'll begin to see a lot of, role play and skills and idea sharing that can ensure that LSETF continue to play the role that we know for them to be doing. But what are some of those things that we, even as a government, have been able to do? I'm sure the Commissioner for Economic Planning, had mentioned some of them. You could see that so that we do not see those numbers continue to go up year on year. So one of the things that we've set for ourselves is that let's go back and let's even ask, ourselves, how is our educational system in our curriculum at our secondary school level? We're introducing comprehensive learning skills at our secondary school. We started with a pilot of about 15 of them this year, and we're beginning to see, just in 2 weeks, we're beginning to see from the reports that we're hearing that a lot of the students that hitherto will not come to school, that hitherto have a lot of truancy and late coming, they are now indeed coming to school because they are getting interested in the new skills and in new ways, of curriculum that are now being developed. You can see that in our primary schools, we're actually also ensuring that our teachers, are putting everything they require into the learning, into the teaching, and passing on the skills to these pupils. And what have we done? We've handed them, tablets that can ensure that in all of the schools they have the same lesson content, they have the same learning tools. It doesn't matter where the primary school is, it doesn't matter what part of the city, everybody can indeed pass on equal skills of knowledge to those young children. We believe that we have a responsibility, not only today, but for the children that are coming, for the leaders that are coming tomorrow, to give them that foundation that will make them truly, really resilient, students in future. What else are we doing? Just recently, we also got approval for 2 new universities. It's because we're asking ourselves, where is the future of job? What kind of jobs will people be looking for? We've gotten approval for a University of Science and Technology. It speaks to our learning of STEM education out of our secondary school. So if you do not have a University of Science and Tech, and we're teaching them STEM education, science education in secondary schools, where will that feed on to? So we're happy that we have a University of Science and Technology, that can also feed into all of the investment we're making in hard infrastructure, on the rail infrastructure, and we're sure that the students that will be coming out will be people that will indeed be able to take up this opportunity of the hard infrastructure that we're thinking of. We also have a University of Education. You know, even for us as a government, we find it difficult, you know, that skills around NCE are no longer fashionable. You know, a lot of our, you know, private primary schools and secondary schools, about 20,000 of them, are not employing people coming out from NCE schools. So we took the bold decision and said, let us have a proper University of Education that can throw out the skills that are needed in these primary and secondary schools, you know, 20,000 of them or so. So we've deliberately taken, you know, the destiny, you know, of our students. We're saying to them, we want to create an opportunity so that they become employable once they come out of those universities, because those are the kind of skills that people are looking for. Those are the kind of, you know, learning that people are asking, you know. So these are some of the very immediate actions that we have taken. What else have we done? You know, in our university today, we have what we call the JIL initiative, which is Job Initiative. Lagosians want to challenge you with a lot more. We believe you have the capacity, because you've demonstrated this in the last 4 years, that given the opportunity, you can double these numbers. And it's only by scaling those numbers that we can reduce the percentage that we're seeing. And so it's about scaling. It's about an ability for them to be able to do more, and it's about them having access, the capacity for them to grow more. And so we're going to be challenging you. I've asked for their budgets, I've asked for what they want to do, and I'm making a public pronouncement that will try and double whatever it is that we're looking at. It's not going to come easy. Don't worry. I'll take the claps, but it's not going to come easy. We're going to be challenging you. And why do we need to do that? We need to do that because they've given us proof of concept that it can work. So it's really around all of our partners that are here today. And I want to thank all of you. I cannot mention all of your names enough. GIZ, UNDP, USAID, IFC, Fit Foundation, LBS, ADC, Access Bank, First Bank, Sterling Bank, and a lot more partners that I probably not mentioned your name that are here. Let's try and challenge ourselves and say, can we double these things? Can we double the envelope size that I want to give out? Can we double our ability, you know, the kind of training, the kind of partnership that can we just double it? Once we double it, we'll realize that we'll have a lot more people, you know, in the room that will be taken out of poverty. And that's why we've used that topic, prosperity. How do we ensure that prosperity is for all of us? How do we ensure that the digital skills that about 700,000 women will require to ensure that they can double their ability to access revenue, to ensure that their customers can be in the comfort, you know, of their rooms, of their shops, and do a lot more? How do we ensure that that happens very, very quickly? We cannot continue to give the reasons and excuse of COVID. COVID is behind us now. We need to think and think really, really deep. How do we ensure that we create that opportunity for the teeming number of youths that are here? Because they're waiting for us. Because they're relying on us. The likes of Mrs. Esther. There's so many of them in Ikorodu that we need to help. The likes of Mr. Afolabi, the painter. There's so many of them in Sanwo-Olu that we need to help. And it's only us that are here. It's only the partners that are here that we can do it. And that's why I'm challenging the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. We'll give you the grants that you need. We'll give you the funding that you need to ensure that you can double it up. We can create the eco space and, you know, and the ability for you to be able to touch a lot more people quicker, faster, and deeper. But as I round up, I want to thank the board, especially the chairman, who I continue to appreciate our energy, everything.